Hi there. Welcome to the Advanced Strategic Management course of third semester MBA. I am Professor Ahamed Riaz and I'll be a faculty for this semester teaching you Advanced Strategic Management. This is one of the most important courses that you have to learn in your MBA program. What is strategic management? Strategy is a word derived from the Greek word strategios. What do you mean by strategios? Strategios means commander, the commander of a battle. A commander makes a plan of action for his team to win the battle. Just like that, a manager needs to know how to make plan of action for his team to win in the market, to win the battle in the market. Now that is why strategy is known as one of the most important courses in business management. Now, before understanding what is strategy, we should understand some terms, some 4 or 5 terms. Number one, what is plan? What is a plan? You must have learned in the first semester about planning, organizing, directing, controlling and all. Exactly, what is a plan? A plan is a course of action in future. Okay, then what is a goal? Number two, what is a goal? A goal is a broad primary outcome of a plan. For example, you will have a goal to become a corporate manager. Okay, that is a broad outcome. And you will have a plan of action for that. That is your plan. Okay. Then what is objective? Number three, you should know what is an objective. An objective is a measurable step you take to achieve a strategy. It's a measurable step. For example, you say that I will do my MBA in 2 years and I'll become a manager in next 5 years. I'll become a general manager in next 10 years. So it is measurable. The number of years, 5 years, 10 years, these are all measurable objectives. So objectives should always be measurable. Then one more terminology that you should understand is tactic. What do you mean by tactic? A tool you use in pursuing an objective aligned with your strategy is known as a tactic. Now, a tactic is a tool used for pursuing your short-term objectives, small objectives. Whereas a strategy is the approach that you take to achieve your long-term goal. So that's the difference between strategy and tactic. Strategy is your approach that you take to achieve your long-term goal or your long-term plan. Now, what do you mean by the long-term plan? Usually we say a plan of 5 years is a long-term plan. And tactics are the tools that you use to achieve your short-term objectives. Now, so these terms, plan, goal, strategy, objective and tactics. So these are the 5 terminologies that you should be very clear before we start strategic management. Now, what is the definition of strategic management or strategy? The execution of a set of choices based on the customer needs, which identifies the essential positioning, the competitive advantages and the configuration of activities necessary to create value superior to a competition and generate superior returns and profits. So 3 important things in this definition are set of choices. You will always have a set of choices. Number 2, competitive advantages. You should have some advantage above the competition. Number 3, configuration of activities. You should know how to configure the activities to achieve your goals. So ultimately, you will create a value superior to your competition. So that's the definition of strategy. Now, the first important thing that you should understand in strategic management is the levels of strategy, or it's also known as the hierarchy of strategy. The strategic hierarchy. There are 3 levels of strategic hierarchy. Now, let's have a look at what are these 3 levels. Now, usually it is denoted as a pyramid. Okay, it's a pyramid. And let us see what all things are there in the pyramid. On the top of the pyramid, you have corporate strategies. The corporate strategies. Usually the top level management, the board of directors or the board of governors, they come up with the corporate strategies. Now, there are different strategies. For example, whether to continue the business, whether to go for a new business, whether we should grow the business, whether we should go for a stability strategy, whether we should go for a retrenchment strategy or a divestment strategy. All these things are decided by the corporate management. So that is known as the corporate strategy. Different strategies are used by the corporate, the top levels corporates. For example, you can take Tata Sons. Tata Group is managed by Tata Sons, the corporate body. The Tata Sons will decide whether to go for a new business, whether to acquire a new business like Jaguar Land Rover, which they did recently, whether they should stop a business, whether they should go for a stability strategy. All these things are decided by the corporate level strategy. Now, there are certain tools used by corporate strategists. For example, something like an industry analysis. They will analyze all the companies in a particular industry. For example, automobile industry or in steel industry, Tata Steel. They will analyze all the companies. That is industry analysis. Then they'll also go for something called a SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunities, threat. Strength and weakness are the internal analysis, and opportunities and threats are the external analysis. Similarly, many other analyses are used, like pest analysis or pestle analysis, the political, the economical, the technological, the social, and the and what you call environmental and the legal. That is a pestle, PSTEL. So all this analysis is done by the corporates. Now let's have a look at what is the second level of strategy. Now, the second level of strategy is known as business strategy. Now, after the corporate, below the corporate, you have something called as SBU, Strategic Business Units. Now, we'll take the example of Tata Sons. Tata Sons has Tata Automobiles, Tata Steel, Tata Tea, Tata Consultancy Service. All these are SBUs. SBU means Strategic Business Units. The units which do a common business or the same type of business. So SBU level, the business level, different strategies are made. Now, what are the different strategies here? We use the generic strategy of Michael Porter, okay, like the low-cost strategy or the differentiation strategy or the focus strategy. We'll come into all this, we'll get into all these details in the coming classes. Okay, and many tools are used in this level. In business level strategy, certain tools are used. Tools like BCG matrix. You must have heard Boston Consulting Group Strategy, BCG. That is a matrix known as BCG matrix. Then we have GE matrix, the General Electric matrix. All these matrices are used at business level strategy. And on the bottom of the pyramid, you have something called as the functional strategy. Now, what do you mean by functional strategy? For every SBU, there are different functions. For example, marketing department has a marketing strategy. You have a financial department. The financial department has a financial strategy. You have a production department. They have a production strategy. You have an operations departments. You have an human resource department, they have their HR strategy. You have an R&D department, the research and development department, they have their own R&D strategy. So these functional departments have functional strategies. That's the bottom level of the pyramid. These strategies are known as functional strategies, which are made, which are created by the different functional departments and implemented by the functional departments. Now, in this entire course, we will be learning strategy in all these three levels: the corporate strategy, the business strategy, and the functional strategy. The entire course revolves around these three levels. Once we learn the different strategies and the different tools used in all these three levels, the entire course will be over. So, with this introduction, Let me wind up, and I'll be back with more on strategic management or advanced strategic management for you in the coming classes. So, winding up, Professor Riaz here. Thank you.